Hello, guys. This is Ali here with another session on Youth Alumni Association. Today, we have Kathryn with us, and Kathryn is currently working as a senior account manager at Arrive Logistics. First of all, Kathryn, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for coming in and showing up on this session.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to see you again.
It's great to see you again as well. Just a little bit of background. I know Kathryn, you guys used to work in One Point Logistics as well. Kathryn has a great experience when it comes to logistics industry. And I think she's one of the best managers that one can have. So if she goes to any company, or currently she's working in the company for, they guys are lucky to have her. Trust me. So that's a little bit of introduction from my side. That's what I think about Kathryn. Now, Kathryn, would you be able to go ahead and explain a little bit about yourself? Where do you live? How did you start your career journey? What were the hurdles? You know, a little bit of that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So in 2013, I graduated from Benedictine University in Lisle, Illinois, and I graduated with my degree in business and economics. And at that time, in 2013, the market crashed, and it was hard to get a job at that time. I was lucky in the sense that all throughout college, I worked full time at Whole Foods as a customer team lead, which was great because I still had a job when I graduated. But I didn't see myself progressing at Whole Foods. It was good for my college career, but I wanted to do something else, something that pertained more to my degree.
I see.
But I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do. You know, a business degree is a very wide degree. There's so many options that you can do with a business degree. And, you know, I'm thinking maybe I'll get into marketing. Maybe I'll get into advertising. And one day this recruiter reached out to me and she said, I have a job that's perfect for you. And at the time, I didn't even know that recruiters existed. I thought maybe it was a scam. So I asked my mom, I'm like, Mom, this woman, she reached out to me on LinkedIn and she said that she has this perfect job for me.
I mean, you were excited and you're like, okay, I got a job finally. Yeah.
I'm like, should I meet with her? Like, is this legit? I'm so sorry. Is this legit? And eventually she's like, well, I want you to sell fiber optic cables for ComEd. So there's no way I'm selling fiber optic cables for ComEd. That doesn't interest me at all. She's like, okay, well, what do you like to do? I said, well, you know, I like to stay busy. I like to, I'm always on the run. Like, and she's like, well, what about a job in logistics? So, logistics? What's logistics? Like, I get that you get a truck from point A to point B, and I know that there's stuff delivered some way, somehow. I'm so sorry about the dogs in the back. I'm trying to.
All right.
So she talked about a job in logistics, and I went and I interviewed for a company called AIT, and they're a large international freight forwarder. And I got hired on the spot, and we had this awesome opportunity to handle the McDonald's convention. At the time, McDonald's was located in Oak Brook, and what we were doing is we were bringing in all of these different products, food products from around the world for testing and evaluation for the McDonald's convention. So all these scientists were coming to Oak Brook to decide what's going to be on the menu for McDonald's for the following year. And it was a big challenge because I was completely new to the logistics space. I had no idea how to get something on a plane, let alone get delivered to Oak Brook from New Zealand or whichever country, you know, we were delivering to. So it was definitely like that type of sink or swim type of situation where it was either like I was going to just put my head down and grind and go, or I was going to fail. And failure for me wasn't an option.
Of course it was not. Yeah.
So it gave me a lot of experience at an early age because they trusted in me to make sure that this really went off smoothly. But at the same time, I was still younger. I was at that point in my life where I was working literally at AIT around the clock because I was dealing with everyone from around the world. So I'd have meetings like late at night with people in different countries just due to the different time zones and things like that. And while it was a great opportunity for that time in my life, I wanted something that offered a little bit more of that work-life balance, you know? And so that's when I eventually transitioned over to another freight forwarder called DSB.
Okay.
It was a completely different culture at DSB, and I was sold on the culture being a little bit different, and I actually interpreted it to be. And I had a friend who worked over at AFN who got into the domestic logistics space. She told me how much she loved it, and she actually invited me as her +1 to a Christmas party with her.
Oh, that's
and
so sweet.
I had the chance to meet everyone that she worked with, the CEO, all of the executives at AFN. And, you know, I went up to them and I said, if you are ever looking to hire someone for sales, give me a call.
Okay.
And that's how I ended up. They actually did. They called me a couple months later.
Okay.
And that's how I actually ended up transitioning into the domestic space of things.
I see.
Which brought me over to AFN. And at AFN, I started off in sales. But it was really hard for me because I didn't really understand what I was selling. And I was brought into a room and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get fired. I thought I was getting fired.
Yeah, this is a phobia in our mind because of leadership. I mean, people don't motivate you. They just want you to do some 9-8 hour shift and that's it. I mean, if they don't give you the growth path, basically. So Kathryn, I'm just going to stop you here for just a minute, if that's okay.
Of course.
So starting from the customer service background, then going ahead with, you know, different industries, like in logistics, you worked at, executive level, then you were promoted as a senior account manager today, which is quite a journey. Now, I'm trying to actually bring this information for everyone here in Pakistan, in the United States, people in Africa, or, you know, people across the world, because lack of career counseling is something that is happening everywhere. What do you think is the right time when they should guide us? The educational institutes should guide us on, that this is the right time for you to choose the right career. And what do you think you as a person, I'm sorry about that, in Pakistan, this is something that's happening these days because of the new government. I'm not going to name, of course, but what do you think, how to change this culture? What should be the strategies? And where do you think should entrepreneurship come? How can we build an innovative mindset? Go ahead.
I definitely think that would start in high school.
Okay.
In high school, we're not taught, how do you balance a checkbook? How do you use a credit card?
Okay.
How do you really become financially stable? And I think when you understand those things and how money play into your career paths, that will propel us forward to make those better decisions. We all want to make millions of dollars, right? A majority.
That's
of
the goal
do.
eventually. Yeah, just to make money, to tour the world and get what you want. Yeah.
Yes, to be able to live the way that you want to live. And I think the only way that we're going to do that is by starting at a younger age. And I feel like high school is that age where we're more mature, we're more developed towards the end of high school, and we can comprehend more of those things. And also teaching, like, what are the different career paths that you can take, and teaching in high school the different types of degrees that you can get, and where can those degrees eventually lead you, right? It's almost like, oh yeah, I want to do business and economics. Well, why do you want to do business and economics? Where's that going to get you? Or, oh, I took a degree in communications, but you hear people in communications working in marketing, working in all of these different avenues.
People have a lot of talent. That's what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Now the point here is, like, in America, do you guys have these career counseling sessions, or you think they're not enough?
I definitely think that there's more that could be done as far as educating the younger generation as to finding out your why. Finding out your why is
your core interest.
Important.
Your core interest, basically. Yeah.
Like, what do you want to do? Do you want a job that's going to offer you more of time at home with your family? Do you need to work from home? Do you need what motivates you? And I think some of these questions are so hard and in depth, but we really need to be having those conversations with counselors, with career counselors, to dig in and understand, what are your passions, what are your wants, and how are we going to get you there? And
Yeah.
that's something that we're currently lacking, where it's like, I can ask myself those questions and I can dig deeper at myself, but it's helpful to have someone to kind of hold your hand and be like,
Yeah.
okay, is this really what you want, Katie, and why? And kind of pry into some of
Yeah.
those
Let's, for
questions.
example,
Let's peel back that onion.
someone is good in music, or let's, for example, arts, or just a skill that he has that the other person does not have, right? Or fashion designing, let's, for example. Why would a parent force another person to just go for something that he or she likes? Eventually, let the child take his or her decision, because unless and until they would not know what they're good at, they're never going to go ahead and be, passionate about that. So I think that's something that's missing in the current, generation. What do you think?
Absolutely. I hear so many, I'm at that age now where a lot of my friends are starting to have kids. The kid
Yeah.
isn't even, 3 months old yet. And they're saying, my kid's going to be a doctor. My kid's going to be a lawyer. My
It
kid is going to be
happens. It happens in
president of the
Pakistan as well.
United
Yes, it
States. And
does.
it's like, that's all fine and dandy, but you need to, like you said, you need to let your child make that decision for
You
themselves.
need to dazzle the other person with something that, okay, this is my story. This is really inspiring. This is the inspiration that I have. And I think that is going to happen when there's going to be a methodology of research and development. Let people do their research. Talking about good people in US, like Wright brothers, George Washington Carver, Henry Ford, all these people, they were, majority of them were not even high school graduates, I guess, right? And the way they innovated the mindset, the way Mark Zuckerberg came in and he innovated Facebook, that's where entrepreneurship comes in. So if there's one Mark Zuckerberg, if there's one Miley Cyrus or Hannah Montana, it started with Hannah Montana, and then Miley Cyrus, she became a rock star. If Selena Gomez can just sing a song of who says I'm not perfect, stuff like that, or if Michael Jackson can give a good message, heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and for the entire human race, we all are doing it for a reason, for the betterment in the society. I'm so sorry about the attack that happened in Texas, and my heart broke inside because they were kids, and that shouldn't have happened. Similarly, in Pakistan, this thing happened a couple of years ago in a school. As a generation, where are we leading towards, Kathryn? What do you think about that? How do we need to change? How do we need to come up with innovation? How do we need to build our own selves instead of relying on the government all the time? What do you think about that?
I think, and I mean, it's hard to say because I'm not a parent, but I think that a lot of it does come down to parenting, right? And helping our child to be like, give the honest truth. Sometimes it's hard. It's harder to tell the truth sometimes than it is to give that little white lie and be like, oh, you know what, you're really great at this one, and essentially you're not really great at that. And I think, we live in a culture where there's always these participation trophies, and some people aren't going to like that. But you really need to, the only way that you're going to be successful is really honing in on, what are you good at? What are you passionate about? And if people all around you are saying, oh, you're really good at this, when really you're failing, that's not helping anybody. And I think we live in a society where everyone is so sheltered, in the sense that we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But the only way that we are going to grow as a society is being honest. And it does suck. Nobody wants their feelings hurt, right? But the only way that we're going to grow is by understanding those different challenges. It's okay to not be good at something, but then what can you do to get better at it, right? Like, okay, if you're really passionate about something and maybe you're not so good at it, well, I'm going to go take painting classes because I want to be an artist, and really understanding, how am I going to get to where I want to go, and having that honest feedback along the way is really how we're going to cultivate as a society to be our true selves. But we're never going to get there if all we're being told is lies.
I understand that. I understand that. Kathryn, anything particularly you would like to give a message to the youth entirely in the whole world, that if you follow these footsteps or these things, you might be able to achieve better in terms of any strategies for the young generation? If yes, what would those be?
There's this quote that I really like, and it says, "The harder I work, the luckier I get." And I really believe that that's true. But if
Yeah,
you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to roll up your sleeves and get in the weeds of things, that you will be successful. It won't happen overnight. It takes years. We talk about entrepreneurship and all of these, hurdles and challenges these entrepreneurs go through to get to where they are today. But if
yeah,
you're willing to be persistent in what you want to do, and
yeah,
if you're willing to really put the pedal to the metal, no matter what challenges you face,
yeah.
you will be successful. And I think, it all comes down to knowing what you want and working hard for it.
Working hard for it. There's no piece of cake. There are no
Mm,
shortcuts.
right. There are no shortcuts. And
There are
I
no
feel like we
shortcuts.
live in
Yeah.
a society where we're presented with shortcuts all the time. Take this pill and you can lose this much weight, or like.
Or even these kind of things like cryptocurrency. There's no need to work 9 to 5 anymore. Sit down, invest. I don't know. I mean, even from US, I get tons of messages on my LinkedIn, on my Facebook. I don't know if it's the case with you, but they're like, do you know about cryptocurrency? Do you know what? I mean, people want other people to just go ahead with shortcuts, but this is not going to lead you anywhere. Trust me, it's not going to lead you anywhere. You need to work and you need to earn for that if you want to succeed in the long term. There are no shortcuts. So coming back to the career counseling part, I
Yes.
think, what do you think about if you have a coach or a mentor? Uh, does it matter that you're supposed to hire one, or it could be anyone? I mean, it could be, you could be my coach, I could be yours. There are your colleagues who could coach you, but it's just your inner instinct. That
Mm,
instinct needs to be there. Why?
yeah.
Because if that's not going to be there, I mean, it's going to lead towards nothing. I have a quote to share here as well.
Mm,
Eleanor Roosevelt, I'm pretty sure you know her.
yes.
She said there are three types of people. The first category and the best category is for those who talk about ideas. That's number one. And I
Mhm.
agree. Apple,
Yes.
let's, for example, Steve Jobs, he had an innovative mindset. His marketing strategy was different. The second category is who talk about events. That's okay as well. You know why? Okay, I went to the wedding, the food was not good. Next time, you're going to improve yourself. Then there is a third category, and they talk about people. People, people, people. Oh, Kathryn, you know what she's up to? Katie was going with someone, and that was, oh my God. Okay, I saw Ali in that supermarket. I mean, gossiping, that's it. It's good to
Hmm.
gossip, but if you're going to gossip, your mindset is going to be like that. It's good to have fun when you're with friends, but if you're going to, now, let me share one thing here. My father wrote a letter to Ronald Reagan, the president of US, and he wrote a reply back to him. That means that, I mean, it's a big thing that a president is replying to a person who's not even in the country. The core subject of that letter, I was having a word with my dad, was that he spoke about research and development, that I'm a kind of guy who wants to go to America. And he replied back to him to just come to the American consulate here in, Pakistan, Lahore, and go for it. But unfortunately, the family issues, the family got jealous, his stepbrother stole that and stuff. But my father never gave up. That's what I'm
Hmm.
talking about. You should not
Yeah.
give up. You should always have a plan B. Today he retired as an officer. We're educated enough, so people also stop when they try to achieve something and they do not do that. I mean, they do not attain that, or they do not achieve that. What's your advice to those people who give up easily?
It's so hard because you have to want it for yourself. And I feel
Yeah,
like those people who give up easily may not want it as much as they thought that they did. But
yeah,
to
I agree.
understand that nothing in life worth having comes easy. And so if they are facing this sort of roadblock that they need to push through,
Yeah,
the push through will be 100% worth it.
Yeah.
They have got to fight for what they want. And if they continue to fight, eventually the fight will end and the light will open up. But it's, a lot of things in life, it's not an easy, straight path. We talk about you can't take the elevator to success, you have to take the stairs.
Step by step.
Yes. And in that situation, just dive in deep and take one more step. What if that one more step is where you needed to be and you cut short of one more step? So don't cut yourself short.
Yeah. And one more thing, talking about social media these days, people are really into TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. Makes a lot of sense. But don't you think people are also misutilizing it?
Misutilizing it?
Yeah, misutilizing it.
Because a lot of these apps are targeted to feed into negativity. For example, like if I don't like a certain politician per se, and you'll notice that you'll start seeing on your feed a lot of that politician. They essentially want to drive into whatever your dislikes are to make you more angry. And it's crazy. Like you can read about it, like different algorithms that they use. And it's like, they portray these different sites portray something else. Like they portray people living these luxury lifestyles when maybe that might be not be the situation. On social media, I always say you can be whoever you want to be, but it may not be reality. And
That's
so
correct.
Understanding, that time could be used elsewhere, like towards career counseling or finding, I know you talked about a mentor, finding the person you're like, wow, this person really inspires me. Maybe it's at a job that you're working at, maybe they're at the top, and saying, Mary, I want to be like you one day. How did you get to where you are? And people love talking about themselves. People love sharing their stories and, just reaching out to that type of person and developing that relationship is really going to go such a long way.
That is absolutely correct. Kathryn, let's, for example, assume that you become the president of US for 2 days. Okay. What are the steps that you would take to resolve these problems? Let me tell you one thing. Have you watched that movie, The Ugly Truth?
No, but I've heard great things.
Yeah. I mean, the reason of that is that I always, even if I'm watching something or if I'm talking to anyone, I always note down the points that I learned on a daily basis, that this is something that I've learned. Why? Because you're always in a learning process. I met a guy who was like in the British American Tobacco Company. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's a good name. He was the country head. He visited a lot of the world and he had 30 years of experience. The first day I met him, he said, Ali, you know what? I'm still in a learning phase. And that inspired me. I was like, okay, I just had like, at that time I had 3 years of experience. I was going like, okay, this is Ali. I know this and that, stuff like that. And he was like, no, tell people that this is what you're good at. This is what you can give them, but never be overconfident because learning does not stop. So this is also one message that we'd like to give to the people across the world. Do not stop learning. There are hurdles, but life is a game for an opportunist and struggle for an honest man. You want to make more opportunities, go ahead and grab those opportunities. What do you think about it?
Very eye-opening and so true. And that's one thing that I really love about the logistics industry is because I feel like no day is ever the same. And I'm constantly learning something new. I've been in the industry for almost 10 years and what happened 10 years ago won't happen tomorrow. And that's the thing, you have to be open-minded to learning and soaking and developing.
I mean, I used to work for a logistic industry for quite a while, and I really used to enjoy talking to brokers, different people out there. So yeah, the question still remains, if you're the president, what are the solutions, 2 solutions that you're going to immediately go ahead and say, okay, this is what Kathryn is going to do for the people of America or the entire world? Go ahead.
That's a really tough and loaded
I mean,
question,
just in 2 lines, that's it.
But I feel like, going and talking talking to the American people and really understanding what do they want and how can we better serve them.
Okay.
Because, I could want something for the American people, and I feel like those wants would come more from myself and my personal experiences
Okay.
rather
Okay.
than understanding the personal experiences of everyone else. So on day one, I would go out and I would talk to as many people from as many different diverse neighborhoods, diverse states as possible, and understand what are their struggles and what can I do to implement some of their challenges.
Like Martin Luther King Jr. did once, and he was like, this is the way. I have a dream. You know what? There is a code actually at the background. I'm just gonna read it for you. It says, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough.
I love
You know
that
what I'm
quote.
trying to say? Yeah, you
Yes.
must have heard. Then there's
Yes.
another one, and that says, the world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. Try reading codes, people. Try to come up with productivity. Don't just play blame games. Okay, there is racism, there is everything. This is how world works. Nothing is perfect. People are gonna go ahead and throw stones at you, but you're the one who's supposed to, you're the one who's supposed to come up with an answer, with a confidence in yourself that, okay, me, Katie, I'm gonna beat that guy. I'm gonna beat that girl. But not by fighting. There's a question, for example, fight or flight. What would you choose? Flight, right? I mean, you don't have to get into the fight, right? Then there's another quote that is, it's better to protect your own feet instead of carpeting the whole earth. I believe in that. At times you got to do that as well. Make your own room, but make sure that you're talented enough. Kathryn, we've got 2 minutes left. Anything that you would like to add, or anything you want to ask me personally about the goals that we have? There is an association, Youth Alumni Association, we are working on. You already are subscribing and you're a part of it. Thank you so much. Guys, you guys can follow us on Facebook as well. And this YouTube video is going to be uploaded soon. But Kathryn, in the last 2 minutes, anything you would like to add on?
Yes. How can we here in America better support you and your organization and your goals?
In US, like how can we guys help you guys out in terms of what we are doing in Pakistan?
Yes.
Okay, well, in that regard, I have a lot of colleagues in America. Even my family members live there. People like you who are my colleagues, they live there as well. Then we've got a whole network in Canada. There are different people in Yemen, a lot of different countries. So right now what I'm trying to do is with these podcasts, I'm trying to collect a collateral, first of all. Second thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, of course, come to US for a couple of years if I get a chance to,
that would be amazing.
And once I'm there, I would have, but before I go to that country, I need to make sure that my people of my country here, they're established. We have a good team. And then once I go to US, I'm gonna build the same team out there. Okay. So then people like you and me can connect, and we can actually spread it like Canada, America, UK, Africans need it the most. I'm not just concerned about the tier 1 or the best countries in the world. The more my heart craves for those people who do not have water to drink. I mean, in the end, this is my goal after next like 5-10 years. But before that, I need to explore and experience. And for that, I would need to visit US and meet good people like you, because I've spent a lot of time talking to you guys here in Pakistan. But I think this is a time to make the right move. And, I'm currently working with companies I'm enjoying, but whenever is the right time, I'm definitely going to go ahead and come to help you guys out as well.
That would be great. I know we would welcome you with open arms.
I'm pretty sure. I'm glad that I have people like you in my, in my list of friends. And this is, one good person leads towards 10 good people, around. For example, you do a good thing, or I do. Let me give you an example. I spoke to a lady in US. She was depressed because of domestic violence, and she lost all the hope. Okay. Now, me being a Pakistani, because I know US people, I know what their mindset is like. I called her. I said, "You're beautiful. Just go and listen to the song Who Says of that Selena Gomez." Within 3 days, she started smiling. She was like, "Thank you so much, Ali. I think I'm a new person now." Now, if I would have thought that, okay, why should I just help her out or stuff like that, this wouldn't have been resolved. Similarly, if you're going to think of things like, okay, why should I be bothered about that? No, it's not about that. Humanity comes first. If I'm a good person, you're a good person. That's it. This is how we guys should start working. So Kathryn, yeah. Anything else you'd like to share or add on?
What, in your opinion, what can we be doing better for career counseling?
See, I would be opening CCL, that's Center for Career Counseling and Leadership, in different institutes, where I would have a collateral, and I would have people like you guys. For example, if someone asks me that I'm going to go ahead and pursue a career in logistics, then I will recommend them to talk to you. You can actually get paid as well if you're a professional counselor in your particular industry. This is my vision. This is the innovative mindset that I have. Kathryn, we've just got 30 seconds because I've got another interview after that, but this is my vision. We're going to do a next session, hopefully. But for now, I think it was productive enough. But one thing is that I'm passionate and I'm not going to give up. That's what I can assure you.
I know you won't, Ali, and I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. And it was great hearing about your initiatives and some of the goals that you are trying to pursue. And if there's anything that I can do, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you so much. It was nice talking to you. Take care of
yourself. You too.
Thumbs up.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.